These will all be raspberries. Look, as far as the eye can see. So beautiful. This is just a levee, and on this side, Pajaro River runs. You can see by all the greenery right along the water's edge. I'm gonna just do a quick recommendation. So many of my friends are suffering now with this feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, anger, and probably the most seductive of all is righteous anger. Because righteous anger, what that means is you have a real belief behind it, and oftentimes a real accuracy for the wise and for the justice, the idea of justice that might be so supported by the view and so violated by those that you feel that righteous anger towards. One of the ways that I would suggest working with it is, if it powers you a little, good. Powers you to join and work towards change. Wonderful. But then, as soon as that happens, let go of it. It's not helpful. And one of the ways that I notice in myself, I can tell when I've kind of exceeded the wise amount of it, is when I start to use curse words or general descriptions of people. And that's kind of a giveaway that I've gone over the edge of righteous anger, the edge of usefulness, and most definitely of skillfulness. So see if that rings true for you too, and see if by bringing the level down of your anger, and I suggest one method is exercise, and the second method might be meditation, and most particularly breathing exercises. It's so helpful. I know that kind of sounds condescending in a way. I just breathe and things will be better. It's not about making things on the outside better. It's really about, for me, making myself more fit for service. And if that is your goal, which I think that is a goal of so many of my friends who are feeling this terrible feeling and so worried about kind of the catastrophe that feels looming. But if you can calm through your practice, this is where it really comes into play, comes into use, and makes the potential for being fit for service, for understanding how to be most useful in this world. And I know it's hard to hear sometimes. Just want to say, screw it. And I am guilty of that myself, where I have to plead. That's often my case. So I'm not speaking from some higher position, but just from a recognition that I don't sometimes act in the most skillful and wise way. And so anyway, I hope that that gives you something to work with when you sit today. And I wanted to do it especially now because it's so difficult at this moment. It feels so precarious, I know. Boy, that ability to be strong at the moment when the storm is at its is building and is at its highest and the waves are crashing. Wow. That is a superb skill and skillfulness and a superb gift to the world and to your friends, to calm them down. There's no need to propose solutions. I don't know if there are any ultimate solutions anyway. All there is being as present and as skillful as we can in this very moment. And keep aware and observing of how we are on this planet, this miracle. I have a book called, I think it's something about the timeline of the Earth. And in it, they used to have this exercise where they would walk out like 100 feet, and that represented the time from the Big Bang all the way to present. And I think human beings were like the last 18 inches or I don't know. It's just phenomenal how small, it's probably less than that, probably 1 inch, how small that this species of ours has been here. And I remember a talk that President Obama gave, and talking about how it can feel like we're going backwards all the time, but when you look at the data, there's an arc that you could draw of progress. It was just 150 years ago that slavery was the rule of the land, and everyone thought it was just fine in the South. That's how they made their living. Can't take that away from them, remember? And it was preachers and engineers and doctors and politicians and mothers and daughters, and everyone thought that slavery was just fine. I don't say everyone, but it was such an accepted way to be. And so just kind of recognize that that's not that long ago, and we're still fighting that tendency to think of others as being less deserving. Isn't it beautiful to see these beautiful crops, and to be so grateful to our friends out picking these crops so that we can eat them, and being just givers for very little. Something to be thankful for. I know I am. I'm sure you are too. So on this day, see if you can look up more and kind of recognize the beauty all around you. One of the things I've been doing is listening to more of my old albums, especially the idealistic ones. And listening to the ones that are true to the heart, and giving me that feeling of connection to others' experiences in the past as well. So this is our trial time. This is our time to show what we're made of. And we talk about how important it is to be tough, and we kind of recognize that that's a valuable trait. Well, this is the time to exhibit it. Toughness doesn't mean lighting the flames of the whole uprising, being one of the ones holding the flames. There's that saying that it takes a lot of skill and a lot of time and a lot of people and resources to build a barn. It only takes one person with a match to burn it down. So I would advise you to consider that, as you're perhaps thinking bombastic thoughts of where we're at and it's the end and could be the end, but I kind of think there's a potential, as long as there is a potential, for us to be strong and to move forward with being calm and helpful. So on that note, and with this beauty, strawberries all around, these wonderful friends, I'm going to say goodbye for now. What do you say, Dosha?